V Rising, the game where for once we don't play as the good guys. In this world which is dominated by humans, it is my job to conquer it and bring the vampires back to power. So I won't waste any time and let us dive right into the land of Vardoran. It starts where every ARPG game starts, the character creation. And after creating my beautiful character, I wake up after 100 years of slumber in my humble home, well, in a grave that is. After this beginning, which very much reminds me of Elden Ring, I break my first items and almost complete my starter mission. However, since I'm still missing exactly 5 bones to finish it, I decide to take a closer look around, and after a while I find the exit from this tomb. Immediately after stepping outside, I discover a lone skeleton made mostly of bones, and I need those bones to build a bone sword. So one thing leads to another, and eventually I have a bone sword with which I can defend myself effectively. A little wandering later, I arrive at the first very large biome, the Farbane Woods. This forest will be my home for quite some time, but I am not alone in this forest. Everything here is infected by disgusting humanoid people and their chiefs, and as we know, it is my job to eliminate them. But my first enemies were not humans, but animals. So after drastically reducing the local wildlife population and raiding my first wild camp, it was time to find a place I can call home. After a long search, I found a perfect spot, but a bear was guarding the stairs, so I couldn't enter. But he didn't pose much of a threat, so I took quick care of him. So I cleared the area of ruins, placed a castle heart and supplied it with blood so that my base wouldn't fall apart. Now that I have laid the foundations, it's time to make some new and better equipment. But while I was busy building, the sun has risen. Now this proposes quite a problem, because if the sun touches my skin, I start to slowly go up in flames. And if I stand in the sun too long, I start to take quite a lot of damage. But I had to continue building the base so I could take shelter from the sun. So I placed a sawmill to process the wood I have collected into planks. I then also placed a furnace to smelt ores such as copper, which I can then process into various weapons and tools on a workbench. But a furnace without ore isn't of much use to me, so I set off in search of copper. After a while I stumble upon a copper mine where I destroy every living thing inside and then pile up tons of copper. Back home I melt it down and build myself a new axe and a new copper spear. And now that I have reached a gear level of 20 points, tracking has been unlocked. To explain tracking briefly, I have to hunt bosses, otherwise known as V-Bloods, and then kill them so I can absorb their blood. Once that's done, I can unlock new technologies so I can build better weapons and items to defeat even stronger enemies. However, since there's 57 bosses, I can't possibly list them all here. Otherwise this video will be an hour long, and I don't want that. Now that this is cleared up, let's get back to it. Now that I've unlocked tracking, the hunt for the bosses can begin. And the first poor soul was Alpha the White Wolf. When I finally tracked him down after a while, it was time for the fight. Since the bosses are getting stronger and stronger, I have to do the same. So I went to the copper cave, where I mined copper, obviously, but I also killed Errol the Stonebreaker.
like break time.
Ah, ich hab verstanden.
Think I broke something? I feel stronger.
After his death, the mines were all mine, and I plundered all the copper I could find. With the pockets full of ore, I returned home and filled my furnace, expanded the base a little bit more, and then made my way to defeat Keely, the Frost Archer. While on my way, however, I came across Tristan, the Vampire Hunter. Initially, I thought 2 birds with 1 stone, right? Until I took a look at the VBlood page to find out that he was so strong I hadn't even unlocked him yet. So I took a pass and stuck with Keely for now.
Winter's come early. You better be prepared. Up.
Ja.
Damn it.
Aber bis jetzt ist es nicht wirklich groß raus.
Taste of knowledge.
Jetzt.
Recognize.
Next on my death list was Rufus the Foreman, so I didn't waste any time and took swift care of him as well. Now, because I was streaming at the time of recording, I got a very helpful message in chat. You see, up until this point I had no blood type selected, which is indicated with that little icon at my blood bar. In this game you can consume blood of humans as well as animals. Animals give you a creature blood type, and humans, depending on their proficiency, give you rogue, warrior, etc. The strength of the buff also depends on how pure said blood is. The purer the blood, the stronger the buff you receive is. Also, just to let you know, if you run out of blood, you take damage over time. On the way home, I discovered a graveyard where, coincidentally, there was another boss. So I put him in a coffin just like the others before him. But with so many bosses defeated, I unlocked new spells, new weapons and new buildings. So let's slow down a bit. Nah, fuck that. I continued with Finn the Fisherman, who is one of my favorites so far. I mean, he summons pufferfish that explode and eels that spit ice at you. Simply awesome. Next up is Clive the Blaster, whom I quite literally blew up. Boom! And just like that, I got tons of sulfur, which I used to build an alchemy table. There was Aunt Plora, the climate activist, who I tried to fight after Clive, but the sun kept burning me. So while waiting for the sun to set, I collected a bunch of flowers. But once the sun set, I eliminated her. Afterwards, it was time to face a fat bear that hasn't left his cave in ages. And now that he's turned into a rug, it was time to chill out a bit and enjoy the music. I have to say that castle music is one of the best. I mean, the humming of the voices is just fabulous. I also wanted to mention that I actually didn't beat one boss. Namely that son of a bitch, Nicholas. I hate him. All he does is summon those disgusting skeletons, which means I'm constantly taking damage and being distracted. And since I'm getting distracted, he can hit me with these nasty blows that cause massive damage all the time. So I decided to leave him alone for now because he was just getting on my nerves. But since I've already defeated most of the Act 1 bosses, it was time for the final boss. Quincy the Bandit King. After tracking him down in his bandit camp, tearing down the gates and killing his guards, it was time for the glorious battle.
Make this a story worth telling!
While I was better on my first try, the second fight turned out in my favor.
Another notch on my belt has arrived! The challenge! Show me. A rousing battle! Show me what you've got! A rousing battle! No! I didn't think I could bleed this much.
And with that victory, the first act is completed, but so is this video. But there's more to come, so stay tuned.